What's good, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of the Hurls and Smalls Show. Coming to you guys a couple weeks into the off season. We got to improvise with some stuff. So Smalls hit me up today and came up with a pretty decent idea. But before we get into any of the football talk, I got to see how my main man, my guy, look at him over there looking just beautiful today. Got himself a nice haircut. Kept the beard, which I wanted him to do. Brady, how you doing, man?
See, when I was getting the haircut, the plan was a full buzz, like nothing up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my mom, I was like, I want you to shave my head. And she kept asking, like, go check if that's short enough. And it was like a normal haircut. I was like, nah, let's go shorter than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally got tired of being like, let's go shorter than that. Yeah, that's cool, Mom.
I think that's the right length.
I don't think she knew, like, how much I wanted it gone, but it's whatever. It was.
You wanted less than that, is what you're saying.
I wanted like
Bold.
Not Walter White, but like damn near, yeah, just a little stubble up there.
Okay.
So I couldn't pull off bold, so I gotta have something up there, but very very little was the plan. But I'm glad I had some up there because it was 11 degrees today, and the temperature said feels like -4, and the walk between this hangar to this hangar. It's probably 120 foot, and man, it was freezing. And we make it like 20 times a day, so it's like...
When does weather like that end for you guys? Like, when does -degree weather end?
We had it was a Monday, it was 55 degrees, and I was like, oh, this is nice. That Friday, it was like 5.
But like, so by like, if we get to like April... and you're still having this weather, is that like shocking or is that just the norm?
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be like 40s at the worst come March.
Okay. Even that is still crazy because we had that little stretch of being in like the 40s and shit like that, and now we're back up to 70s and 80s. So, but like I said, we have like 2 weeks of winter, and then it's back to the usual.
That must be nice because it absolutely sucks.
I would like to have some more cold around the year though. I don't want it to be fucking 100 degrees with 70% humidity all the time. Sometimes I get tired of that shit. Like the cold was a nice just like contrast to what we're used to. Like I wouldn't mind it just a bit more. I'm not saying I want fucking...
You didn't have cold.
Oh my goodness. Here we fucking go. You know who you sound like? You sound like fucking Joe, Pooks, and Dark. Whenever Suj and I say, man, it's cold today. Y'all don't know nothing about cold. They're sending the screenshots of their weather apps. It's like -5. Suj will send his, it'll be like 30. I'll send mine, it'll be like 50. And they get on our ass like, man, y'all know nothing about cold. We're not saying we get fucking Antarctica weather. We're just saying for us, it's a little chilly. That's it. That is it. So let me rephrase it. I would like a couple more, in Florida terms, chilly days. I'm not asking for -degree weather like y'all, but maybe some more 40s and 30s I would enjoy around the year. That's all I'm trying to say.
Once you had them 30s, you're going to be like, man, there's nothing good about these days. I promise you, when it gets down to these colds, your body don't want to do anything, dog. -4 degrees? Are we serious? It's almost March.
I've said that. Like, negative anything just in my Florida mind just sounds like an evacuation notice. Get the fuck out of the state. You can't live here. It's uninhabitable. Like, I just can't imagine living in -degree weather. And just not even like, it's not even flinching. It's like, oh yeah, it's negative whatever today, and it's just a normal day. Like, that is absolutely insane to me. But
I've mentioned on here a couple times, my boss is 74 years old, and we got a bunch of snow on Sunday morning, Saturday night, and there was still some out this morning. So he gets in the snow. He has me start the snowplow for him, pop open the hanger so he can get out. He drives forward. Within the first 10 seconds he's in the truck, he drives straight and hits the fucking building. Just smacks the shit out of it, puts it into reverse, and then keeps going like nothing ever happened. He didn't mention it a single time all day. And he knows I was standing there watching him, so I don't know if it was like he doesn't know he hit it, or maybe he just is ashamed in himself and he doesn't want to mention it.
Yeah.
But he's the type of guy where if it's like, hey man, I saw you hit that hanger, he's going to be pissed at me for being the one to say something.
Yeah. Okay, so...
Because he's kind of just like,
just don't
I'm not saying nothing
to
him.
Don't say anything then.
Once he says something, we can laugh at it together. But if I bring it up, it's like, yeah, well, you don't do the same thing, fucking pieces. And it's like,
And he's
dude,
just a little ashamed of himself, you know. He just like you said, he just a little disappointed, ashamed of himself, embarrassed, doesn't want to bring it up.
whatever. But other than the diabolical levels of cold, so I got a 2020 Equinox, right? It's a 4-wheel drive car. I had to drive forward and then back up 5 times this morning to get out of the driveway because there was that much snow at the end of the driveway.
Could never. Like that's one of the things. Like, well, I gotta wake up another 15 minutes early for work because I gotta go warm up the car. I gotta go shovel the driveway. I just can't imagine living like that, bro. I just cannot. Like, I don't get how you guys. Like, props to you guys because I just don't think I could ever do that. Could never. Like having to go outside and warm up your car for 10, 15 minutes before you actually leave the house is just insane to me. I just
It
shout outs to
blows
you
you.
guys.
I usually just get out of the shower, I put my coat on, start the car, and then come back in and brush my teeth and shit. And then by the time I'm ready to actually leave, it's warm. But this morning, the first time I tried to leave, I got halfway into the road and the car wouldn't move anymore. And I started to panic because I put it into reverse and it didn't want to reverse either. So I was rocking it side to side like with the wheel, and it went down like into our ditch, which is like a little hill. And I was like, oh no, I can't roll down the ditch. Then I'm super fucked. And I thought about just driving, like backing back into where I parked my car and calling him and be like, "Hey man, can't get out of the driveway. I'm not coming in today." Because the guy I work with,
DeAndre Ayton that didn't go to a game because he couldn't get out of the driveway.
the guy I work with it's just boss man and then me and him most days, and he lives an hour and a half away and makes the drive every day. Could not ever be me. You would never catch me doing that shit.
Absolutely not.
But it's like he wants this to be his career the rest of his life, so I respect it. But I was thinking in my mind, if I don't want to make the 15-minute drive, there's no way in hell he's making that hour and a half.
And you called him, and he was on the road, or headed to the
No, I didn't call him. I figured the first 2 hours there, I'm just going to be sweeping up the floor because there's nothing to do. I pull in, and his car's sitting there, and I was like, thank God I actually came in, because if I would have hoed him, I would have felt like a dickhead.
For sure. Like,
but besides the tangent,
guys, yeah, props to you guys.
How you doing, dog?
I am doing pretty good. I'm just tired, I would say, from like work and stuff like that. It just be getting me tired, like, and I'd be texting you when I get off. Today I got off at what, like fucking like 12:15, 12:20. I don't even know what it was, but I've been getting off super late these past couple of days. But yeah, I'm pretty decent. I talked about last episode how I have a new job lined up that I was gonna do, and that's, you know, progressing pretty well. I set up an interview for that. But I have like a cousin who works there, so I honestly probably will get the job. But like I said, it's overnight, so my plan is to probably keep both jobs for now. But I'd probably take a couple of my days off from like I would not work as many days as I do as my current job, because they would never overlap, because I work nights and the other one would be overnight, so they would never interlap. So I could keep all the days, but just for my well-being, I'm not gonna work all those days, obviously. So I'm probably gonna, you know, work like 3 days at my current job, and then the rest work the majority at my.
You were saying like place. The truck days only.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, probably the days I only work at my current job, and then whatever other days they give me at my new job what I'd be doing. So yeah.
So our Monday films are cooked.
No, absolutely not, because I will tell them that I can't work Monday overnights and Thursdays overnights. Come on, man. I thought about this already, bro. What the hell? You think I'm just going to do overnights nah, man. This is my number one priority. So no. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, cause I just
we can always change the time we film though.
We could, like, if I end up just taking this one job and I quit my other one, then I'd be available like earlier in the day. So yeah, it would work too. So I don't know, whatever. We'll see.
I kind of like the night, so I can't lie.
Yeah, for me it's better because if I had like a different area to film, I wouldn't mind it. But for me, it's my lighting. Maybe if I get like blackout curtains or something, it wouldn't matter as much. But for me, it's my lighting. Like looking back on that first episode when we did it like during the day, my lighting was awful. It was terrible. It was terrible.
That first episode is hilarious to look back on, because at one point you had someone walk in and you were like, "Go ahead and keep on talking."
It was
so
RJ. It was my brother's kid. His little fucking 2-year-old ass walking into my room, doesn't know what's going on, and I had to tell my mom like, "No, I can't right now. I can't." So yeah, and I remember you had someone come into your room as well. Yeah, it was.
My mom walks in and I was just like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah,
And she
I
just keeps
remember that.
talking. It's like,
Like
bro, what is it?
that's exactly what my brother did when we were recording this. It wasn't on the podcast, so they wouldn't know. But that when we were recording those TikToks, my brother walks in, he pounds the door open because my door isn't a door you need to turn the knob and push in. You can just push my door open. You can literally just push it. It doesn't lock or anything. So he bangs the door open. He's like, yo, yo, yo. And I go like this. I'm like, no, no, no. And then that's when he goes, I just can't come and see my brother. I just can't come and hang with my brother. And I'm like, dog, come on, bro. I guess this means nothing to people. Like when I'm like, that just means nothing to anyone. But shout outs to you, Rodney.
It is what it is.
It is.
For this episode, you can probably see in the title. Oh, slow your roll.
Yep. Slow
if you're watching this, we appreciate you. Hit that subscribe button. We had hit 74 at one point, but apparently somebody decided they didn't like it.
I didn't even realize. Yeah, because I still saw 73.
About a damn near a month ago, you asked what was going to hit 75 first between TikTok and YouTube. It ain't neither one of them numbers moved since. So I'm thinking you jinxed us because our views have been decent, but it's like we ain't moving at all. But it is what it is. If you're watching, hit that subscribe, leave us a like, help us grow a little bit, and leave us a comment. We get about the same 4 guys commenting every time. So Joe,
yeah, I was just about to name him.
Frosty, Suj, because Darko don't always comment, but those 4. Pretty consistent. And Kevin, we know you watching, dog, and we love you for that. Leave a comment every once in a while.
I haven't seen him leave one, but I remember asking him on episode 1. Kevin, I asked him, did he like the video? He said he likes every video he watches, so I don't even have to tell you, Kevin. I know you already liked the video, but leave a fucking comment. Say hi or something. But yeah.
And Kevin cracks me up because in the Discord, just at random times, he'll respond to like a picture, a video of one of us just doing some goofy shit.
Yeah, it was because he had texted in the Discord saying what happened like last episode when it had flipped. He was like, why'd the camera flip or whatever, the Discord flip? And I told him, yeah, I just wasn't recording, so Smalls were recording. We just used it as a recording for it's only gonna be like a couple of minutes. Don't worry about it. And he sends a video of you just fucking dancing and shit, and he's all happy. So hey man, shout outs to you, Kevin. Shout outs to you, man. We appreciate your support and everyone else's support. Like Smalls was saying, leave a comment if if you're new. Just say what's up. We enjoy chatting with you guys. Sub if you're new, and drop a like. And go ahead.
So as I was saying, this episode is going to be one move every AFC team should make this offseason. And then the next episode will be NFC, and just kind of gives us something to talk about both of these episodes. I don't know kind of what direction you went in. Maybe we'll be the same, maybe not, but every team will get talked about a little bit. And before we get into that, we got some news today. You go alphabetical again?
Yes, but before you get to that, if you guys have any ideas or things you want to see us do for the majority of an episode, leave it in the comments, because Smalls and I, it'd be like the fucking day of we got to record this. Like, all right, bro, you thought of anything? That's how it's been the past couple episodes. So if you guys have anything you want to see us do, whether it's a draft, anything like that, games to play, anything like that, let us know, and, maybe we'll use them. So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All 32 teams, these are kind of like a cop-out because it's some decent like conversation lengths, but some like games or drafts would be fun too, because that wouldn't be something we had to do the whole episode, but it'd be a little bit more intuitive or whatever. But I went alphabetical, and the first team that we're going to talk about is you went alphabetical by city again?
Oh my, yes! But you adjusted to me last time, so I'll adjust to you. So you go ahead. So I'm assuming the Bills are first.
The Bengals are first.
The Bengals are first. Okay, that's fine. I'll adjust. I'll find the Bengals. All right.
Man, I even tried to go your method. It's not a big deal. It's just frustrating. Why do you go by city? That's so weird.
That's how it always is. If you go alphabetical order by NBA teams, NFL teams, it's always the city.
All right, we're going by the team name now. Fuck you.
Yeah. Fuck me when I said that's fine. Like what?
I'm just kidding. But the Bengals franchise tagged T. Higgins today. A move that
did they?
Probably.
I saw like they just didn't want to lose him. They were willing to. I didn't know they did it. That's news to me. Really, I didn't know they did it. Okay. Continue. Sorry, I just really didn't. I honestly didn't know they
Look it up.
tagged them.
Maybe they were just planning on doing it, but I'm pretty sure that they actually pulled the trigger. But Trevor Lawrence was on one of the prettiest NFL players or NFL analyst shows. Shout out Kay Adams. He was on Up and Adams this morning.
Bengals focus on signing T. Higgins to long-term deal, considered likely to use franchise tag if needed. Plan to use franchise tag. So yeah. They he'll be there. Go ahead, sorry.
So T. Higgins will be there, but he'll probably be upset. He wants a longer-term deal, and I don't know if it was his actual mother or not, but I saw someone like Greedy Bastards, and it was like T. Higgins' mom.
I was gonna say, because when I went to go type in T. Higgins, it said T. Higgins' mom. So it's funny that you just brought that up.
But Trevor Lawrence was on Kay Adams' show. You know, they went to college together, and she mentioned something to him, and all he said, he just got a big old grin on his face, and he said, T is a heck of a player. He didn't say what he wanted him or anything, but I think the Jags could be fun for T. Higgins. But going to Cincinnati,
I think so too. Yeah, but we're talking about the Jags or the Bengals. Yeah.
So you just want to go back and forth? You want me to start, and then you'll start the next one? Type shit.
Sure.
All right, the Bengals. What I said their move should be is just get an entire new defense other than their edges. Keep Sam Hubbard, keep Trey Hendrickson. Literally all other 9 players on your team can just go somewhere else. BJ Hill is cool at D-tackle, but you can move from him. Jermaine Pratt is cool. You can revamp your linebackers completely. You know, Geno Stone was supposed to be a phenomenal signing for them this season. He led the league in interceptions last year. Should have stayed his ass with the Ravens. Cam Taylor-Britt is a pretty solid player.
He's weird. One time he's making a spectacular play. The next time he's getting fucking toasted. I don't know what to think about him.
Yeah. The only positive I can say about their defense is, even though I don't think Lou Anarumo was their issue, I think that their new guy should be able to come in and build whatever he wants. So hopefully we get that.
Yeah, I had pretty much the same thing. I said, obviously help the defense, but my biggest thing was literally in caps. I said, do whatever you can to keep T. Higgins. Literally whatever you can. If you have to franchise tag him, if you have to sign him to a long-term deal, give him whatever he wants, and please just keep T. Higgins, because I promise you that if they lose him, they are going to feel that immediately. Because I don't think they understand how valuable an elite number 2 wide receiver is to your offense. And not that Joe Burrow's going to fall off a cliff, but you may start to see this offense not be able to be as productive as it is without T. Higgins. But
I'm sorry, but I don't want him to stay there. I think him going somewhere and I think he's just more valuable than being Jamar Chase's sidekick.
For sure. I think he could easily be a number 1, and not just a number 1 just because, you happen to be the best receiver on this team, like a legit number 1 guy.
He's
I think he
damn good.
But I think for the Bengals' sake, I just love to see him there. I love to see him and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, that trio together. I just love watching them play together. And I think the Bengals can be a Super Bowl contender every single year if they just get that fucking defense right. I really think they can compete every single year. Even with a subpar defense, I think they can compete. But this year, it was just a fucking 5th grade defense.
It was 1 on 11. Trey Hendrickson was the only one that showed up to every game. But let me say that I don't want T. Higgins to necessarily leave. Like, I'm not begging for that. I just want to see him in New England really bad. I think him with Drake May would be awesome.
We'll get to New England.
But Cincinnati... Don't you dare play around naked next year. I don't care who else you bring in.
Literally,
Chase Brown is your running back 1. I don't know why you had Zach Moss come in and be like,
literally since week 1 we were saying
it. I don't get it. Next team is the Buffalo Bills.
I think there aren't many holes on the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, I can hear you. I didn't even notice that it happened, but then I heard your voice and then you weren't moving. But yeah, there aren't many holes on the Buffalo Bills. We talked about them going out and getting a legit number 1 receiver. So I think obviously they have to go do that, because Amari Cooper, we thought that would be, a blessing for them. They really just didn't use him much at all. But other than receiver, their obvious point, I think they have to go get somebody to help that pass rush, to help a guy like Ed Oliver, because especially you notice that every time they play the Chiefs late in the season, they just cannot get much pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and he's able to run around and do whatever he wants. So if they can go get especially an edge rusher, because Von Miller just isn't that guy anymore. So if you can go get somebody off the edge that can put some pressure on quarterbacks late into the season, I think that has to be your number one priority. Like I said, obviously a receiver, but I think even over that, because I think Josh Allen can overcome, having this ragtag group of guys like he did this season. But I really think that defense needs another solidified guy off the edge that can put some pressure on a quarterback.
I think Keon Coleman will become their head and shoulders above receiver one next season. I think he's got all the tools to be the guy. And Khalil Shakir is just always open in like a third and long or a really important play.
Mm-hmm.
So between those two, and then whether it's as you said, Amari Cooper or Curtis Samuel, who they signed to a 3-year, $24 million contract, so he'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
One of those guys is your third guy. I think they can make that work. And then obviously James Cook's not going anywhere.
You better not.
I also went defense, but I don't know how easy it's going to be for them to go to a Myles Garrett or a Max Crosby or someone like that. If you can upgrade, cool. If not, you're going to kind of have to just chug along with Greg Rousseau and Vanessa. I said to go out there and get like a true lockdown corner, because Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford are just not it. DeMar and Taylor Rapp are cool back there at your safeties, and cool being the main word. Taylor Rapp's a stud, but I don't know how long-term DeMar is going to be your guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Taron Johnson back there. And when Kyrie Elam was drafted, I thought he was going to be the next like superstar corner. So the fact that he's just kind of a depth guy at this point in his career kind of makes me sad. So
I like Rasul Douglas a lot. When he was on the on the move last year, I really wanted the Niners to go get him. So I like him for the Bills, but I definitely do think they could use another guy next to him. But yeah. But like I said, I don't really put too much into the receivers, because like you said, I think Keon Coleman can be their guy. Matt Collins makes a big catch all the time, just a fucking 50-yard bomb for no reason. And like you mentioned, Khalil Shakir, I think they'll be just fine. But I really think, like you said, the defense is what needs to be fixed.
Plus, they can still use both Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. So
and stop fucking resting James Cook in the fucking second half. He's not fucking 35 and needs to be preserved. Please just play him. But yeah.
Upgrade your defense somehow. Next, we got the Broncos.
The Denver Broncos. Okay,
it's me.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. That's why I jumped in.
I said go out there and get another separator. Whether it's upgrading your running back because they don't like Javonte Williams and I don't like Jaleel McLaughlin. Whether it's getting a true number two. I like Marvin Mims. I don't know if he's their number two or if he's their kind of like slot third guy. Courtland Sutton's obviously your number one. I don't like Adam Troutman as your tight end. Maybe go out there and get a actual tight end, but get something for your offense to get Bo Nix more weapons out there on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, literally what I had written down was make life easier for Bo Nix and get him a running game. And also I have, like you mentioned, a tight end. Like their tight end, it always, for like the past 5 years, it feels like the Broncos have rotated through these like 3-4 guys with the same tight ends that are just subpar. They're not awful, but they probably shouldn't be your starters. They're a good backup tight end, but they've never had that guy. So go invest in a tight end, and that, like you mentioned, that running game. Please, I said it like halfway through the season. Bo Nix is playing very well, but please just make life easier for him and get him a running game. For a rookie quarterback, he needs a running game that he can rely on, and the Broncos just didn't have that. So over getting a number 2 receiver, I need this team to go out and address that running game, please.
Absolutely. Speaking of their tight end, we're going to get to an episode in this offseason, going into the season, where we're buy stock into players. They had a tight end at one point who I would have bought so much stock in, it's literally not funny.
I know.
And the fact that Noah Fant isn't a stud really, really breaks my heart, because I don't understand it. I just don't.
You brought him up early in the season, and I was so upset when he got traded to the Seahawks. I was like, no, the Seahawks got Noah Fant. He's going to be so good over there, and his ass just hasn't done a damn thing. I was pissed when the Seahawks got him in that Russell Wilson trade.
It is what it is, though. Browns are next.
Browns. Okay. Another one where I kept it short and simple. If you trade Myles Garrett, tear it down. Tear it all down. If you trade Myles Garrett, just go completely in that direction. I don't want you to trade Myles Garrett and be like, you know what, we're gonna try and be competitive this next season. No, if you trade Myles Garrett, everybody can go. I'm not saying give up everybody for fucking pennies on the dollar, but everybody should be available. No team should call you, hey, is Denzel Ward available, and you just hang up the phone. If they're willing to give you something of value, you should be willing to listen to that offer and maybe even take it. So if you trade number 95, everybody is available to be traded. Just please just go in that direction and just rebuild.
Mine kind of goes along with yours. I just said find your identity, because it used to be defense. They would be, after their 0-16 season, they built back up with Baker Mayfield, and they were good because of their defense. If you trade Myles, it's not going to be defensive anymore. Rebuild the whole thing. If you keep Myles, put it back into your defense to build with them and make it easier on your offense. You don't have a quarterback. Mm-hmm. You don't have a running back. I love their wide receiver room, and David Njoku's not going anywhere. But your offensive line used to be one of the best in the world, and they're all getting old. So just figure out who you are at this point. Kevin Stefanski is probably on the hot seat, so coach your ass off, dog. Next up, you got your second favorite team.
My second favorite. Oh. The Los Angeles Chargers. My Chargers. So I said continue to bolster that O-line, especially the interior of the offensive line, because they have their studs at tackle. And I said, get Herbie another weapon or two. And in parentheses, I put Hill, Metcalf, and Pitts. You're not gonna get all three of those guys, but you had Tyreek Hill request his trade or whatever he did at the end of the season. I would love to see him with a quarterback who can run a high-powered offense in Justin Herbert. I would love the fit of DK Metcalf over there, a big target for Justin Herbert, and I feel like it's the perfect contrast to what Ladd McConkey is. And then a tight end. We talked about fucking Will Dissly looking like he's a fucking top 10 tight end because of Justin Herbert at points. If you could go get Kyle Pitts, and maybe he won't be that top 10, but if you can squeeze every ounce of potential out of that you can in Kyle Pitts, I would really like him in this offense. So those are three guys I would love for them to target this offseason. So go get Justin Herbert a weapon and invest in that interior offensive line.
Will there ever be an NFL player that gets more of a leash than Kyle Pitts?
It's ridiculous. And I'm telling you right now, if we get to the 8th round of fantasy football, Kyle Pitts is still sitting there and I need a tight end, I'm drafting him. And I honestly can't give you a reason as to why. I can't give you one legitimate reason. It's just like, fuck, it's Kyle Pitts, I'll take another shot on him. I genuinely can't give you a reason. But for some reason with Kyle Pitts, it's like, maybe it was this that's the problem. Maybe it was this. Oh, Kirk Cousins isn't good anymore, so it wasn't his fault. Now he has Michael Penix. Maybe he can be good again. Now he'll have a whole offseason of Michael Penix, and maybe next year's his year. It just feels like there's always some excuse for him. So it just works in his favor, but I would love to see him, because I seen the rumors like a month or so ago about him somewhere else, and I would love to see him with the Chargers with the quarterback like Justin Herbert, because then there would be no more excuses. I can't even draft you anymore, Kyle Pitts, if you stink it up with Justin Herbert. So yeah,
Kyle Pitts, I was high on you. I can't do it anymore, dog. I can't give you that extra year. Whether it's with Michael Penix this year, whether you somehow end up with Joe Burrow, or whether you somehow end up with Justin Herbert, this got to be your last year for people to continue to say, Kyle Pitts is still over there.
Year, for sure. I think this is the last season.
The last year was supposed to be 2 years ago, and for some reason it just kept getting pushed on and on and on. Maybe. Why didn't Marvin Bagley get this long of a leash?
And it's just like, he was drafted 4th overall, supposed to be all I heard in the draft. Generational tight end. He's going to come in immediately and be a difference maker for Atlanta. And man, I just want to believe that, and I want to see that for him. So Kyle Pitts, I'm drafting you next year. We're going to try to run it back with you. You are a champion, so I can't say shit bad about you. I'm running it back with you next year. I still have this much faith in you, man.
How much did you get for that champion league?
$250, but the fucking app takes fucking $5, so I got $245.
So, who won the AFC North?
Shit. I still do owe you that money, huh? You know what? I'm gonna send it right now, live on the show. I'm gonna send it. I owe you $40.
I'm just kidding.
No, I owe you though. No, you're right.
For the Chargers, I said they just need more time under Jim Harbaugh. I have the most faith in Jim Harbaugh, pretty much over any other coach other than Andy Reid in the entire league. I think Jim Harbaugh is just a mastermind. Find an RB2 for J.K. Dobbins, whether it's a guy that can compete for RB1 or not, I don't really care. But Gus Edwards is just not your guy. You didn't have faith in Hassan Haskins, and when J.K. Dobbins, it sucks to say, but when J.K. Dobbins inevitably gets banged up at some point in the season, you're gonna need somebody to take over that RB1 role. Get someone other than Q next to Lad McConkey. I like Quentin Johnston a lot, but he's either the best player in the league for that week, or he has 0 catches on 5 targets.
Yeah.
And as you already said, go to tight end. I don't like Will Dissly, so figure out someone else to start over there. But I love the way they're building their defense with Diane Henley and their 2 edge rushers, and I like what the Chargers are doing. So shout out to you, Mr. Kool-Aid.
So it said I went to go send you the money on Zelle, and it said this mobile number has been unenrolled from Zelle. So
we'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. You said it's on me. What team are we on?
It probably just cut me off because I haven't used it in a while. So.
Oh, okay.
Dog, we get so my boss. He can only eat a couple things, right? Because he lost a big portion of his sense of taste.
Mm-hmm.
So he likes a bacon pizza from Pizza Hut, and that's pretty much it. He likes ham and cheese subs, and occasionally we get McDonald's. But we've been getting a lot of Pizza Hut lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to sign into my account today, and it just pops up and goes, "You have been locked out of your account indefinitely because of too many failed logins." And like every time I log in, I go into like an incognito tab just because I don't want my email and stuff to save into their computer.
Mm-hmm.
And it banned my account because I put in the password wrong. Is that not bogus?
I thought you were gonna say too many orders. I was gonna be like, holy shit, if it banned you for too many orders. But that's understandable if it locked your account, because how many times did you fail it? Like, was it like a couple of times and it was like, oh no, you're banned? Was it like, how many times did you fail?
I think I only failed it once today because I forgot the exclamation point. But like,
oh, you're failing it like once a day. I thought it was like all at the same time. You failed it like 10 times. You tried 10 different passwords. So if it's once a day, then yeah, that is bogus. Yeah, that's like, what the fuck are they doing?
And it's not even once a day. It's like we'll get it like Monday, Tuesday, and then it's like the rest of the week we do something else. But like we get Pizza Hut probably twice a week, and at the most I'm feeling twice before I get it right, just because there's. But they bogus as hell. So I just made a new account through their own email. But I don't know what just caused that tangent. Oh, because Zell kicking me out.
Yeah.
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Where the hell are they? Oh, yeah. I've been saying I kept it short and simple for everybody else. This is the shortest and the simplest I kept it for any team. Just run it back. Just run it back. As long as this team has number 15 healthy and they got the studs on defense that they do, they have Andy Reid coaching them, Steve Spagnuolo still their DC. Just run it back and you'll be just fine. I wouldn't be surprised if you're hoisting the Lombardi next year. That's really all I have to say for the Chiefs. Just run it back.
I said just get healthy.
That's
because you get Rashee Rice back, you put Isaiah Pacheco back to full health. Unfortunately, you figure out what's going on with Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they're back in the Super Bowl next year.
At all. Just run it back, KC.
One of the most confusing teams in all of football.
Mm-hmm.
Team that we both expected to make the jump.
Mm-hmm.
The team where a superstar running back dropped the ball before entering the end zone.
Yep.
The Indianapolis Colts.
Mm-hmm.
I said define some consistency at quarterback. Whether it's their play, whether Anthony Richardson's playing better, or whether it's the coaching not switching back and forth 17 times, just let your quarterback be the quarterback. And then Jonathan Taylor just has to be more of a professional. Not in like the interviews or anything. He is absolutely incredible on that side of the ball, but like that one play defines your whole season, man. And you can't let that be the case, because he had a not to the best that he ever has, but he had a very solid season.
For sure. Yeah, I what I had written down for the Colts was, ask yourself the serious question is if AR is our guy or not. Because last season, it seems like you guys didn't know whether you wanted him to be your guy or not. You're benching him for Joe Flacco a couple of times. So just ask yourself the real question. Not that there's a wrong or right in this, but just just so you guys have a direction of what you want to do. Ask yourself if AR is our guy or not. Because like you said, it's the revolving door. Is this going to be our coach for the next 5 years to build with AR? Are we going to put the weapons around Anthony Richardson? Are we going to try to tear this down and build it back up with Anthony Richardson? Are we going to go in a different direction? Just figure out what you want to do at quarterback. And if you say, you know what, AR is going to be our guy, give him the entire season. If he's bad, don't just fucking, not even bad. If he's not what you want, don't just bench him for an aging Joe Flacco. Just let him ride out this season so you have a definitive answer at the end of next season and you know whether he's your guy or not. And at that time, you can go in a different direction. But just ask yourself the question if he's your guy or not.
And if you move on from him, I will be an Indianapolis hater for a long time. Wow. I hate when teams give up on quarterbacks this early, and I think that Anthony Richardson has so much untapped potential. Sure. And Michael Pittman, I went on the little rant last episode. It's either time for you to become the wide receiver one or just move the fuck out of the way and let Alec Pierce be your wide receiver one, because Alec Pierce had a hell of a season, and you didn't. So figure that out. And keep letting this young defense grow, because I thought they were going to be ass this year. And they surprised me. Latu, dog. Next up, the Miami Dolphins.
So for the Miami Dolphins, I had, do not trade Tyreek Hill, because if I'm the Dolphins management, I want the perfect scenario for Mike McDaniel, because Mike McDaniel, if I'm the GM, if I'm the owner, I'm thinking Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat this season. So I want him to have the perfect scenario. There's no excuses. It's not, oh, we traded Tyreek Hill, we'll give him a pass this year. I want him to have the perfect situation. So we know whether Mike McDaniel is our coach or not. And Tua's flourished under Mike McDaniel, so I could understand why there could be some hesitancy to, maybe no, we want McDaniel to continue growing with Tua. But enough has to be enough. The Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in 20-some years? It's ridiculous. They need to be able to do something in the postseason. And ever since Mike McDaniel has been there and they've had this group of guys, they do not beat good teams, literally at all. Not a single year that he's been there, they beat up on the bad to average teams. And when they play a team like the Bills, they get mopped. When they play the Ravens, they get mopped. Any good team just whoops their ass, but they end up with 10 or 11 wins because they beat up on all the bad teams, whether it's the Jets or the Patriots. That's 4 wins right there for them in division, and they just beat up on all the other bad teams on their schedule. So if they can just, like I said, put the perfect situation to where there's no excuse for Mike McDaniel, and if I'm the ownership, I'm saying he's on the hot seat, because we have to know whether he's our guy or not. You just have to at this point.
I said a shift. Just whether it's a shift and you buy in, and as you said, see if Mike McDaniel is your guy. I also said that he just needs to simplify things when he needs to simplify things. He's got to know when to make changes. And if you don't go that route, burn the bitch down, tear everything out like you were saying for the Browns, because they've given this a go and they've looked unbelievable some games, and then other games it's like, this is the same Dolphins team we just saw put up 70?
Right. 70 points, yeah.
And when you have Tua Tagovailoa, and he's had these issues his whole career so far, the fact you go into the season not having a backup,
ridiculous.
Laughable.
And there were so many options. Okay, you didn't go into the season with one. There were so many options. We shit on Joe Flacco for taking Anthony Richardson's spot, but he could have kept it 500 until Tua got back and would have made that playoff push easier. Hell, I guess the Steelers wanted Russell Wilson to be their guy, but I'm sure you could have bargained for one of those guys, whether it was Justin or Russell Wilson. There were options out there for you to make it. It seems like they just didn't even try. They just stuck with Skylar Thompson, Snoop Huntley they went and got, and they didn't even give themselves a chance to fucking make that playoff push, that realistic playoff push when Tua was out.
I think Skylar Thompson stinks, but I really, really like the Snoop Huntley pickup. I just don't think that Mike McDaniel gave him good enough a chance. I think there's so many talented backup quarterbacks in this league. You saw Tyson Bagent when Justin Fields got hurt in Chicago. Jake Browning was really good in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
This year, when Jalen Hurts was down, Tanner McKee was even really good. So there's just a lot of guys out there that you could do stuff with if you're a good enough coach. And we don't know if Mike McDaniel is or not. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Make your ownership move on. Because the fact you let Trent Baalke stay for so long, major issue. The fact you kept Doug Peterson, major issue. This will be the last time I mention those two things because Doug Peterson, you've been mentioned on this podcast way too many fucking times. I like Liam Cohen a lot, even though, I think that the route he's going is he knows he's an offensive mind, so he takes the risk on their offensive coordinator and Grant Udinski, the guy from Minnesota. He goes with Anthony Campanile as their defensive coordinator, the linebacker coach from Green Bay. I don't know a whole lot about him, but Green Bay should be all right. Figure out what's going on with Travis Etienne. You can't let a guy go from that good to that bad in one season, and then whether you're having him as your number one or he's your number two next to Brian Thomas, figure out what's going on with Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis and get an actual receiver there because those guys on paper are cool. Christian Kirk, we saw have one booming year, and ever since he hasn't really done a whole lot.
I never liked the Gabe Davis signing. I never did.
I didn't either. I hated
because
it.
People
to be fair to
when
them,
he had that like 4 touchdown game in the playoffs, people were like, "Oh my goodness, Gabe Davis is the next guy," and the Jags gave him all that money. I never liked it at all, ever.
To be fair to them, I don't really know how to gauge this season because I think there was just so much shit going on at the same time.
For sure.
Unfair to do so.
So for the Jags, we talked about it earlier in the season. You have to know what Trevor Lawrence is this season. Well, now we're at the end of this season, and we still don't know. So for I said put all of our eggs into the basket of Trevor Lawrence. We're doing whatever we can. Like I said for Mike McDaniel, we're doing whatever we can to give Trevor Lawrence the perfect situation. This season should be all about making Trevor look good. Make Trevor look the best that we've ever seen because we have to know, is Trevor going to be this top 5 talent? Is he going to be the guy that's going to carry our franchise no matter what we have around him? So you have to put all your eggs into the basket of Trevor Lawrence and make it as perfect of a situation as you can. Like you said, whether that's going out and getting a wide receiver 2 next to BTJ. You hit on BTJ, so Trevor has his number 1 guy for the next 10 years or whatever it is. Go get a solidified number 2 because like you said, Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis, it's week to week with these two. Then Kirk will be hurt. Gabe Davis is just a no-show. So you just got to know what you have in those. And like you said, just go out and get somebody if you're unsure with those two. Travis Etienne. I still have some faith in you, but my goodness, that was a fucking awful season after you being a fucking Pro Bowl level running back. You just fucking shit your pants this season. So I'm hoping you can get back to maybe not even what you were, but to get back to being a starting level running back because you were not that this season. So if you can do that, you hired Liam Cohen this offseason. He should be a big upgrade over Doug Peterson, especially what he was able to do with Baker Mayfield in that offense in Tampa. I'm excited to see what this offense has in store in Jacksonville. So like I said, put all of your eggs into the basket of Trevor Lawrence, and I literally had you sink or swim with the ship of Trevor Lawrence. Whether he's bad or he's great, you go down with the ship.
I think an underrated part of the Liam Cohen signing is that they have the 2 running backs. He had Rachaad White and Bucky Irving like really good this season. One, the rookie, was obviously better than the other, unfortunately for my personal reasons. But Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby are both high-level running backs on paper. So just figure out if they really can be that. Because I think Travis can play the Bucky role, and then Tank can probably play Travis can play the Rachaad role, and Bucky can play the holy shit! Tank can play the Bucky role. There. Next up, we got the best team in the AFC. The Jets, Jets.
For the Jets, did I go first last time?
It's up you. It's
okay.
You.
So for the Jets, I said find a bridge quarterback until you can find your guy, or take the shot on Sam Darnold. I'm not sure what their cap situation is. I'm not sure how much money Sam Darnold will be asking for. But if you can't strike, if you can't get Sam Darnold, find a bridge guy until you can find your guy. Maybe it's in next year's draft or something like that, or next year's offseason, somebody comes available. Because this is such a talented roster on paper that they were able to win 7 games with Zach Wilson. But for some reason, Aaron Rodgers comes in and they're just fucking god-awful this year. It doesn't make any sense. So if this roster can just find a competent quarterback that maybe they're not even a starter on most teams, but like you mentioned, there are players out there. If you just put them in the right situation with, like you said, if Tyler Huntley was in the right situation, there's quarterbacks out there. If you just put them in the right situation, they can flourish. They're probably not your guy for the next 10 years, but like I said, just a bridge quarterback that can have you just competitive. Because for the Jets to not be competitive this season with the roster that they had is insane. So if Zach Wilson can win you 7 games, I'm sure there are some quarterbacks out there that can get you to 9 or 10. But like I said, I'm not sure how much Sam Darnold wants. I'm not sure how much the Jets have in money. But I would be trying to bring back Sam Darnold to New York if I'm the Jets. I know you don't want it because that's where we saw the worst version of Sam Darnold. But if I'm the Jets, I'm like, fuck it, why not? Let's take this shot on Sam Darnold. Because if I'm Aaron Glenn, they're probably not going to can me after 1 year of Sam Darnold shit. So what's there to lose in this situation? I think you just take your shot on Sam Darnold. If you can't get him, you just bring in a bridge quarterback, and maybe next offseason is where somebody comes available. A Dak Prescott maybe wants out of Dallas if things aren't working over there. Or who knows, maybe you just have a bad season and you're picking higher in the draft and you can draft your guy. So just something like that is what I want to see from the Jets.
Aaron Glenn should get 4 years at the very minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And bold prediction, they already have their bridge quarterback. He's on the roster right now. Shout out Jordan Travis. I said for the Jets to build a long-time, lasting culture for the first time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen since we've been alive the Jets have like a consistent, we know who they are type culture?
The Jets are always bad, and it's because there's been so many iterations of the Jets, but they're always bad. Like it's not like they've had the same team and they're just we just can't find. They switch it up all the time and they're just ass. They are just bad. We've seen Sam Darnold, we've seen Zach Wilson, we've seen Aaron Rodgers, we've seen Mark Sanchez and Brandon Marshall and all. They're just always bad. We've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick. They're just bad no matter what they do. For some reason, something's going on over there to where they just cannot be good. I don't understand it.
I think that Aaron Glenn should get so much time and so much patience. You can't continue to move on from your coach and just hope something clicks, because I think coaching is so important in the NFL. And you need a quarterback, so he should already get some leeway there.
Mm-hmm.
Other than Garrett Wilson, you need weapons. You don't have a receiver two. You don't have a tight end. Between Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, I think their running backs are completely set.
Mm-hmm.
Their offensive line is whatever. But just figure out the offense. I think that they're at a good place defensively. When they had bald dude, what's his name?
Robert Saleh.
Went to Yale. When they had Robert Saleh, their defense was really good. They got guys like Jermaine Johnson who were out for a season with injury. They have guys like C.J. Mosley who were out for a long time with injury, and Jamie Sherwood stepped up and was really good. Will McDonald stepped up and was really good.
Will McDonald was so good.
They had Hassan Reddick on some bullshit all season for no reason. So just kind of figure out what's going to click, what's going to stick, and what's not this first season. And maybe the next year that they start to build toward who they're going to become. And you let Aaron Glenn kind of let him go to Dan Campbell route. The first year with Dan Campbell, they were really bad.
Mm-hmm.
You let him build who he wanted to build. You gave him the chance there, and now we got the Lions that we are. Next up, we got Mr. Plug's team.
So obviously I have Drake May some weapons, and I had two specific guys. You talked about him earlier, and I said we'll get to the Patriots later. It's obviously T. Higgins. If I'm the Bengals, obviously I do whatever I can to get him. But if I'm the Patriots, it's fuck the Bengals. We want T. Higgins. T. Higgins is our guy. We go get that number one guy and give Drake May a certified weapon out wide. And if it's not T. Higgins, the other guy I had written down was Cooper Kupp. I understand Cooper Kupp wants to win, but if Cooper Kupp, maybe in some way he can put that to the side, and you know what, I'm just going to be productive for the rest of my years. Maybe I'm not going to win, or maybe I can be somewhat of like how Chris Paul is in the NBA. Not that he was as old as Chris Paul, but I'm just going to go into a team that doesn't have this winning culture as of right now, but they've been a winning culture for the past 20 years, but as of right now, they're just in a little lull. Maybe I can get them back to maybe not being a Super Bowl contender, but I can just turn things around and build an identity over here, get a culture over here, and make this team a competitive team. Not a 10-win team, but maybe we can just be in games, be competitive, have it down to the wire, but, you know, just something like that. So I would love Cooper Kupp or T. Higgins in New England.
I love the T Higgins shout, and you mentioned him earlier. I don't think DK Metcalf gets traded at all, but I
I
think the
hope he
Patriots would
does.
be a better fit than the Chargers for him because we already saw Vrabel have AJ Brown looking
Mm,
phenomenal, and him and AJ Brown is better than DK
for
Metcalf, but
sure, for
they're a
sure. I
very
understand
similar
what you're saying.
build.
Yeah,
Uh, I said just redefine that culture that you had for so many years, and I think Mike Vrabel can
mm-hmm,
easily do so.
for
You
sure.
had Jared Mayo come in this first season and kind of unfortunately tear some of them foundations back a little
Just
bit.
out everybody. Like he just didn't hold back in interviews. He would say whatever
He
about
was
anybody, and
horrible.
it didn't matter. Yeah.
Drake May is undoubtedly your future. You need to figure out your running back situation. They benched Ramondre Stevenson a couple times this year. Antonio Gibson is pretty laughably not your option.
Mm-hmm.
And then unless you go get a star guy, let your young guys be the starters for this team. As much as I want them to get a guy for Drake, you kind of got to let Drake build with people. Uh, the Mario Douglas is too good to move on from, but a guy like Kendrick Bourne doesn't really need to be there anymore. Javon Baker, Jalen Polk. Uh, holy shit! I just said like 7 times in one sentence. Oh my gosh, what's Boo's first name?
What's who? I didn't hear what you said.
Kendrick Boot.
Oh, Keyshawn.
Keyshawn. I kept wanting to say Kendrick, and I knew that didn't fit. It's Kendrick Bourne. Keyshawn Boot. Let Keyshawn let him, Javon Baker, and Jalen Polk be your guys. Revamp your offensive line. Find a tight end because Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper in the Big 2025, we
Mm.
can't be serious. And the defense last season was great to start, and
Mhm.
then the whole situation with Jabril Peppers kind of happened, and they kind of just got turned upside down. So hopefully they can figure that back out. But I have a lot of faith in Mike Vrabel.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders. The Raiders. Oh.
Hey, it's my turn.
Oh shit. Sorry.
I said to spend the offseason looking for a genie.
Wow.
I think
That's crazy.
I think Pete Carroll's going to do wonders for them over there, but they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a running back. They don't have receivers other than Jacoby Myers. And I hate to tell him, but Jacoby Myers really isn't a receiver one. Their offensive line is cool, but then the defense is bad as well if you don't count Max Crosby. And Max Crosby's talking like he wants to be anywhere else in the world.
He was just saying how he loved it in the Bay. He spent some time in the Bay. So Max Crosby, if you want to come to the Bay, we're happy to have you.
I want to see
him anywhere else but the Bay. But the Bay.
No, I want them to go somewhere and team up and be on opposite. Like imagine them going to like the Panthers, somewhere with a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if the Panthers have. Imagine they both go to the Commanders, just play there.
Like I was saying a couple episodes ago, if I'm a free agent or a guy that wants to be traded, the Commanders have to be my number one on any list, no matter what position I am. The Commanders have to be my number one priority. I have to want to get there.
But Max Crosby and Myles Garrett together, though, that would be amazing.
Or Nick Bosa. It's your guy. Don't even make that face like that's not your guy.
If Nick Bosa went to the Chargers and played with Joey, that'd be sick.
For the Raiders, you're probably gonna be upset at this one, but it would have been a different answer if they had landed Ben Johnson. But the fact that you have Pete Carroll, go get Russell Wilson and be competitively bad. You're not going to win a lot of games with Russell Wilson, but just go. I said it last episode, just go suck good. Like in the words of D Mills, just go suck good with Russell Wilson because you have the connection with him and Pete Carroll. Like I said, if you went and got Ben Johnson, I said this could be a nice team that Ben Johnson could maybe turn around. But since it's Pete Carroll probably isn't your long-term answer. He's not your coach for the next 10 years or whatever. Just be competitively bad this year. So go get Russell Wilson because no matter who you get, you're not going to be a good team this year. So I don't want them to go get like a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll have the connection. So go get Russell Wilson and, just be competitively bad this year because there's nothing you can do to be competitively good. So just go be a bad team that could, fuck around and upset or be a team that could holy fuck. Be a team that could upset a good team on any given Sunday, a random Sunday. And it's like, holy shit, the Raiders just beat this team. The Raiders just beat the Texans. It's like, what the fuck just happened? So just be a team like that. That'll just suck good.
I think the plan with Pete Carroll is for him to just come in and build that culture. And then he's going to probably when he's ready to do so, move up into their management somehow. And then I think he'll probably be the guy to kind of handpick who his successor is, that type of role. I don't know if they'll trust him enough to do so, but the Baltimore Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens. Okay. So I said, this is your core. Keep this core, and eventually, if I'm the Ravens, I'm banking on it. I don't care. Eventually, Lamar Jackson will break through, get through the wall that is Patrick Mahomes, and will get us to the promised land. So this is our core. Lamar Jackson's our guy. Not that there was any question, but this is our team. We love the guys that we have, and eventually Lamar Jackson will get us there. But I also said, that offensive line, because you have Ronnie Stanley, who's a free agent this year, and their guard Patrick McCarry is also a free agent this year. So revamp that offensive line if you need to, or bring those guys back and upgrade as well. But this is your roster. Don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything drastic. Sure, get Lamar Jackson, maybe another weapon, but this is your team. This is the team you are capable of winning of. And most teams, I would say this is a terrible idea to, and just say, you know what, eventually we'll get through there. But if you have a guy like Lamar Jackson in the roster that you do, this is all you can say. Eventually Lamar Jackson will get us through. I don't care how long it takes. Lamar Jackson's going to get us one at least. So we just stick with the roster we have and revamp that offensive line.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The only thing I said was to find who you put next to Saquon.
Whoa.
Find who you put next to Roquan again. When he had Patrick Queen, he was phenomenal. He had a little bit of a down year this year, but he's still a very phenomenal football player. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but Kyle Hamilton was in an interview, and he was like, we have literally everything. We don't need to go out there and make any changes.
I was literally sitting here like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to say for the Ravens? What are they supposed to go out and get? And I guess, sure, the answer could be a solidified guy next to Zay Flowers, but it's not a need for them. It's not a necessity. You would love an upgrade, sure, but
Rashad Bateman was good.
It's not a necessity. So that's why I've written down, keep this core. This is your team, and just pray Lamar Jackson gets us there, because eventually he will. So just bank on Lamar Jackson just breaking through and finally beating the Chiefs. Or hell, you don't have to play the Chiefs one of these years, and you could just get walked there. So this is your team.
Kyle Hamilton said they have to just stop beating themselves, and I completely agree. They're a good team with good leadership. They just got to figure it out at some point.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'd said just pick a direction. Who's your quarterback? Is this finally the offseason where we go out there and get a receiver next to George Pickens?
Every year.
The defense is very solid, but is it good enough to will you to wins because your offense sucks? I don't know anymore, because if you let Justin Fields go, it seems like Russ is going to be a Raider, so I don't know who they go otherwise. I hope they don't.
I love Russ with the Raiders, right? I love it so much, man. I will be okay. Let me relax. I'm not gonna be tuned in every week, but early on in the season, I will be watching Raiders games. Right? I'm excited to see that.
Excited for something that's not even a thing yet.
Yeah, I just hope it happens, man. I hope. Russ, I know you're watching. Sierra, I know you're watching. Russ, man, sign to the Raiders, man. You'll have a fan in me.
Hey, Sierra, if you're watching, slide me Coco Jones' number. I know you got it.
All right.
I just beg they don't go the Kenny Pickett route again, where they let Justin go and they pick a quarterback towards the end of the first round that's just not good enough to be a first-round quarterback.
Yeah, I had... Whatever you do at all costs, please do not sign Aaron Rodgers. Please. That has to be number one on your bulletin board. Do not sign Aaron Rodgers. And I also had written down, Justin Fields should be your week 1 starter next season, because you're not high enough to go draft one of these guys. If you don't draft one of these guys, what are you going to do? Bring back Russell Wilson or a guy like I said, Aaron Rodgers? So no, I think you just bring back Justin Fields. Don't bring him back with Russell Wilson. Just say, Justin, you're going to be our guy this year. You led us to a 4-2 record. We started 3-0. We're going to see what you can do for us the entirety of the season. Justin Fields should be your guy going into next year. And like you said, the Steelers have to start doing something, because how far away from are we from? He feels like he's Pittsburgh through and through. But Max Crosby felt like he was the Las Vegas through and through. Myles Garrett felt like he was Cleveland through and through. How far away are we from TJ Watt maybe saying, you know what? The Steelers, we're a good defense every year. We're competitive every year, but I want to go break through and finally get past this hump. Not just be a playoff team, a good team. I want to go play for a guy like Josh Allen, play with a guy like Lamar Jackson or something like that. How far away from me are we from a TJ Watt, trade request? So if I'm the Steelers, bro, it's enough of the playing fucking games and going to get Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, or like you said, a late round quarterback like a Kenny Pickett. Make it known what you're trying to do, please. I'm tired of you just being the middling team that's 10-7 every year, gets to the playoffs and does a whole lot of nothing. Find your fucking direction. Justin Fields should be your week 1 starter. Don't fucking sign Aaron Rodgers, but I'm booking it that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starter for the Steelers next year, but I don't want it to happen.
I think TJ Watt's a Steeler for life, but another guy who I can see asking out that would change their defense drastically would be a Minkah Fitzpatrick, because he's getting older. You know, safeties don't last forever, so he is phenomenal. Next up, we have the Houston Texans. And you're up.
The Houston Texans, I had 2 words, I guess. Protect CJ. Protect CJ. Not as to the extent of the Ravens, but when I look at the Texans, what are we missing? What are we? The pieces are there. If our receivers stay healthy, our defense is elite. Joe Mixon, I was not a huge Joe Mixon guy, but boy, did he shut me up this season. He was phenomenal for that Texans offense. We have the pieces. Dalton Schultz is a cool little tight end. You don't have to go and make that a priority to go change him out. He's a fine tight end. That offensive line just has to be able to protect CJ Stroud and give CJ Stroud the time, but it's also going to be a little bit on CJ Stroud as well, because at times it did look like he was just not a product, but he what's the word? Like, he just anticipated his offensive line just fucking missing a block or something. So it felt like at times he was just overcompensating. Like, oh, for once you actually had the clean pocket, but you're rolling out and missing a guy because you just expected pressure. I don't know what it was, but CJ, you're going to have to be better, but I expect you to be better. I think you will be better. But the offensive line is the glaring hole on this team. And like I said, not to the extent of the Ravens, but just like half of what the Ravens are. There really isn't a
damn
hole.
good football team.
There's not a hole on this team except for that offensive line. They have all the pieces there. They're just all young. So if this team can grow together, they can be a Baltimore Ravens level team where it's like, where are our holes? We're just beating ourselves every season. So if you can go put that offensive line together and fix it for CJ Stroud, this team, I wouldn't be surprised if they were contending next year. They have all the pieces there.
I said fire every single offensive lineman that was on the roster this season. Don't let any of them back in the building. Even a Laramie Tunsil, who was supposed to be a stud.
That's what I was going to say.
Get him the fuck on out, because he failed you too. As you mentioned, CJ Stroud I think he's a phenomenal quarterback, and at some points in the season he was just forcing stuff because he didn't have any belief that his line would protect him. So Texans, I expect you to be in the playoffs again next year, but I expect you to make more of a splash.
And you're in a weaker division, so you guys should be stomping through like that division, and that shouldn't be a worry for you guys. Just be like, all right, we're booked into the playoffs. Now we're just focused on beating the teams like the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens. You shouldn't be worried. This, like, in that division with the roster you guys have, you guys shouldn't be worried about making sure we win this division. It should be playoffs and then on with the Texans. That should be their mindset.
The final team in the AFC. Shout out our boy Vontae. We got the Tennessee Titans.
Make the right pick.
I said, build confidence in your rookie quarterback.
Make the right pick. Just don't screw this up. Don't screw up the number 1 overall pick. That's it for the Texans.
I think the Titans. I think the Titans are so bad right now. They go out and spend every dollar they have on their offense. Let the defense be as bad as you want. It doesn't really fucking matter, because no matter what you're going to do, you're going to be bad. So just let your rookie quarterback not be sacrificed his first year. Give him some confidence to go into his second year and build for the rest of his career. And maybe we get somewhere with a Cam Ward or a Shador Sanders.
Literally,
I don't know who they got.
All I had written down was make the right pick. Do the right thing, Titans.
The Titans will probably trade back.
Literally just do something dumb. Trade back. Actually, we don't even want to be in the first round. We'll trade our first round pick for 2 second rounders. Just some shit like that. So just make the right fucking pick, Tennessee. Please. Tighten up.
Oh, I saw a trade I wanted to ask you about, but I fucking forget what it was. It was like Debo and your guys' first. No, Debo and your guys'
I know what
first
you're talking
for Max
about.
Crosby.
Yeah.
No, it was Max Crosby and a second for Debo, and then like a first, a third, and like 2 fourths.
For pick 11, because we have pick 11, and I would do it in a heartbeat, because that is like, okay, so it's really like we drafted at 11 and we got Max Crosby. Max Crosby's our number 11 overall pick. And then we just traded Debo for a second round. We traded Debo and this, what'd you say, a fourth and whatever for the second round pick. That's my mindset behind it, because odds are you don't draft a guy like Max Crosby at 11. You probably won't. And with the Niners track record in the first round, our only good first round draft pick were two. Nick Bosa fell into our hands because the Cardinals took Kyler Murray. And the one I will give them some credit for was taking Brandon Ayuk. Legitimately, every other first round pick that the Niners have selected under this regime, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, isn't even on the fucking team. Besides Ricky Pierce, obviously, because we drafted him last year, the other first round picks aren't even on the goddamn team. They suck at drafting in the first round. But when it gets to the fucking fifth round, they're finding Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, George Kittle. So trade that first round pick. I really do not care. Go get Myles Garrett. Go get Max Crosby. Do what you got to do. I'm all for trading that first round pick. I'm all for it.
Fair enough. You got anything more to say about the Titans or any of the other teams?
No, sir.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next episode will be the exact same thing, but obviously the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
Before we move into I have one thing for small talk, and I wasn't even going to bring it, but maybe chuckle a little bit. Before we get into small talk, There's always something I mention.
She had herself a game.
Shout out Madison Green. You asked me what the hoodie was earlier. That's what they are.
I was going to say, I was asking, and he just didn't want to show me for some reason. I guess that's what you were saving it for. Okay.
Last night my pops called me. It was like 7 o'clock. He was like, "Hey, you working tomorrow?" And I was like, well, "Yeah, it's a Monday. Why wouldn't I?" He was like, "Dang, Bob's got tickets," because a guy that's been his friend my whole life, it's like one of his best buddies now. He goes to every game, and he was like, "Bob's got an extra ticket." He was wondering if he'd want to go.
Jared Sullinger, right? When you were telling me.
Yeah, same guy. I was like, well, damn, it's 7 o'clock. I can't call off now. You gave me no
notice.
You gave me no chance. And the game was at noon today, so I literally would have had to just miss the whole day.
Yeah, what the hell? That's terrible. What was your dad thinking?
Yeah, so we had our lunch break at like 12:45, and I brought my phone up, and they play 4-minute quarters in women's college, and
really
they're 10-minute quarters. And it was like 9:47 left in the third quarter when I turned the game on.
Bro, you said 4-minute quarters. That's why I was like, what the fuck? But 4 10-minute quarters.
I'm so sorry.
Bro, you said
4 10-minute quarters.
You said 4 minutes, and I was like, what the fuck? They're playing 4-minute
Short
quarters?
Ass game.
I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm just not tapped in that much, but continue.
But no, she was okay today, but the game was phenomenal. They were up like 7 with like 40 seconds left and completely choked it away and went into overtime. But then they just whooped ass in overtime. And it was a breast cancer awareness game, so they were wearing like cool ass gray jerseys with all the linings and the numbers and stuff were pink. And Madison Green, she always wears a long sleeve under her jersey, and she had the cool gray one under. And she looked badass. And then she comes out there, and she got these bright red shoes on, and like she wears them every game, but like they had these pink Sabrinas for them. So like just throw on the Sabrinas and you look fire. But no, we want to wear these bright red ones.
Those are her lucky shoes, her go-tos. Madison,
and I get that because the two best players on the team still wore their Grinches, their Kobe Grinches, but it's like, I love her to death. She's not gonna be out there long enough to like these shoes are gonna be the. I don't know, but I love that she's always trusted enough, whether it's an overtime or like the critical part of the fourth quarter, she gets to play, but she doesn't get to play much in like the whole game, and it pisses me off at this point.
Boy,
but
hey, Madison Green better be on this fucking show one day, bro. I swear to God, she better be on this show one day. Somebody please clip out every single episode where it's shout out Madison Green, shout out Madison Green. Before we get the small talk, shout out Madison Green. You know I do it every episode, shout out Madison Green, and fucking send that to her because she has to be on here even if it's for 2 minutes just to say hey to you. She has to be.
In like 2 months, this won't happen no more because she'll no longer be a Buckeye. But
dang.
Small talk. The only thing I have. Going forward, this will be a Thursday segment because we still got the waffle to go through, and I don't know if you noticed or not. We're already at an hour.
We're never going. An hour. We're never going under an hour.
I was sitting on the couch the other day watching the Tyler Hero and the 3-point contest, and my mom's best friend was over, and I don't remember what sparked it, but she was like, "Who's your celebrity crush?" And I was sitting there, and I was like, "Man, I really don't know the answer to this question. And my mom was like, well, he likes Alicia Keys a lot and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, yeah, you're not wrong, but I don't know if I would really say she's my
Your
celebrity crush at this
Mm-hmm.
point.
Mm-hmm.
So, and your big age, do you
I
got
was
one?
gonna say the same thing. I feel like a celebrity crush is like fucking when you were younger. It's like when you were younger, who was your? Because like at my age, it's not a crush. It's just I think she's fucking fine as hell. I just not a crush. That's how it is for anybody. But when I was younger, my celebrity crush was Vanessa Hudgens. Like in high school, I was legitimately
Ah,
obsessed with her. But who I would say my crush. Uh,
and I told
I
my mom today I was like, I don't know if I necessarily have one, but at top of head, Coco Jones is on my TV right now,
mhm.
and Lord have mercy, she is lovely.
Mm. I tell the guys, and like Punch will always send me her snaps, and Dark will too. Ash Cash, I say she's like one of the most beautiful women on the planet because I love a light skin, her two different color eyes. I always tell them she is the baddest girl walking this fucking planet. Um,
Love a light skin.
I definitely do. I don't like I said, I just don't really have any. Like I think with like the women are beautiful, but I just don't think they're my crush. So that'd be my answer. Ash Cash would be my answer because I just really don't have an answer to that. But when I was younger,
Fair
I
enough.
promise you, Vanessa Hudgens, bro, I would fucking bark for her, bro. I would legitimately do anything for her. She had me tied around her fucking
Only
finger.
reason I brought it was because she asked me, and I was sitting there. I was like, damn, I really don't know how to answer this question
Mm.
anymore.
Yeah, me neither. I just really don't have one.
All right, we're gonna get
Before
into
we get
our.
to the waffle, did you like All Star Weekend in the format? I know we're not a basketball podcast, so I just want to ask you, did you like All Star Weekend?
I love the format. I don't like the breaks.
Dog. And bro, I was watching this. I didn't really watch much of Saturday because I was working, but Sunday, no matter how bad the All-Star game has gotten, whether it's fucking 300 points to fucking 400 points, I will always tune into the All-Star game. For some reason, I just love seeing the best players in the world
I just do.
just hoop. Like Jokic throwing a lob to Wemby, like shit like that. I just love watching. But bro, this was a fucking drag. Like, why we're stopping? They before they started the first game, they said we're gonna stop at 15 and 30 or something like that. They said, I'm thinking we're stopping at 15 and 30 just for a commercial break. Why the fuck are we going to fucking Kevin Hart, Ernie Johnson at the fucking table for 10 minutes? Like, why is it a 10-minute break? I thought it was just commercial break, then like a timeout, as if they just called timeout and we'll be right back after these commercials. But after every stoppage of play, it was like, all right, Kevin Hart, Shaq, come onto the court. We're gonna do something at mid court and have a whole conversation. And it all just felt so fucking awkward, especially with Kevin Hart, bro. It was god awful. It was awful. The presentation was terrible, terrible. But I enjoyed like I said, I enjoyed the format. I was talking to one of my friends and I asked him, and not even ask him. He just knew. I just told him I was watching. He was like, "Bro, this fucking format fucking sucks." And I was like, "No, the format's not bad at all. I don't mind it, but just them stopping every 2 minutes. It was like it was more of them just talking and doing this presentation than actual fucking basketball being played." Like that's what it felt like. I don't know the fucking numbers or whatever. It could have been more basketball, but it felt like a bunch more just talking. Ernie Johnson talking to Chuck and the crew than actual basketball being played. And then you only went up to 40, so that didn't help it. And then you got fucking Draymond Green just shitting on it. Bro,
Hating, bro.
bro, I think it was after the first game. He's at the table with Jalen Rose, and I forget who else was there. And I told y'all, man, this wasn't gonna be good, man. I told y'all nobody's gonna like this. This is a terrible idea. And Draymond, you're free to think that. But with millions of people watching and you being a fucking professional basketball player, why are you up there just shitting on it when you're supposed to be covering it? It was terrible. The presentation was fucking awful, but I didn't mind the tournament style at all.
I'm tired of Draymond, dog. But the first time they did it for the Rising Stars, all the broken teams in like the little tournament, it was in Cleveland, and me and Greg were there, and it was fun as hell to watch, and it's kind of been enjoyable to me ever since. So I do like the format, but boost the points a little bit,
For sure.
stop the breaks, just make it actually about basketball again. Because for the first time, guys like Tyler Hero, he got to play like 3 minutes of basketball,
He
and he
came
was
out,
done.
hit those 2 threes, and I was like, whoa, it's Tyler Hero about to come out and fucking win All-Star MVP? Because he hit that one on like the right wing kind of deep. Then he hit the one over Cat where it was a rainbow and it just went straight in.
Layup,
And I
yeah.
was like, damn, okay, Tyler Hero. But yeah, like I said, I didn't mind this at all. And I actually found myself, like, when the OGs were playing the youngins or whatever their team was called, I was like, hold on. I was like, I'm kind of invested into this. The OGs can't lose this game. So they have me invested, but like you said, they just got to up it. 40 points just isn't enough. Or just give them a fucking 15-minute, just 1/4 thing. Just putting a limit on the points, I just feel like isn't the way to go. Or just up the points. So one of the two. I don't know. But I didn't mind the tournament style at all.
I like the Elam ending style. I just think it should be higher, like a 60 maybe. But because what are the final scores usually? Like fucking 190 to 180?
Some shit like that, yeah. Or they're getting into 200s, but yeah, 190, 170, shit like that. So yeah, 60 points throughout 3 games is fine by me.
All right. That's all you had.
And shout out to the guy that hit the shot. Boy, I did not think he was gonna get it, but he got it. And I was actually rooting for. I was like, hell yeah, he finally hit it. Because I some of those shots were way off. And I just know his heart was pounding. But shout outs to you. I forget what his name was, but shout outs to you for hitting that and getting that 100K.
I was not watching that shit.
Wow.
You knew Dame wasn't gonna let him lose.
No, I thought Dame. If I'm Dame, I'm fucking hitting the shot. I'm doing what I can to hit the shots. But I didn't think he was just gonna sell on purpose. I don't know if he did or didn't, but I thought he was gonna actually try his ass off. I didn't think the kid was gonna win. I was like, you know what? Dame has to hit 3 at the start. I was like, maybe this guy can win. Then I saw some of the misses he had where it's wide right, hitting all backboard, and I'm like, yeah, it's over with. But then he hit it, so shout outs to him.
If you're not a fan of the WWE, this is our send off to you. We appreciate you for watching. We love you. We'll see you next episode. If you are a fan of the WWE, we're going to get into our worldwide wrestling waffle. So, Darko, welcome. We appreciate you.
Literally, us 3 will have a conversation.
We talking about SmackDown? Or you just want to talk about Raw?
We can talk about SmackDown. There you go. I know he's about to fucking throw his hands up.
All right, go ahead.
I don't have the fucking list of what happened. I know you do. So we're talking about SmackDown. Go ahead.
Cody opens, bunch of nothingness, mentions that CM Punk's his friend. Jacob Fatu interrupts, says, I love you, Solo.
Drew McIntyre was out there too, wasn't he? Or was that last Friday?
Nah, he was. Or maybe he wasn't out in the ring, but he was definitely part of the segment. It was like, he didn't like that Cody didn't mention his name or some shit like that.
Yeah, and then they cut to Solo coming back, and Jacob's like, nah, Cody, I gotta go talk to Solo first. So I enjoyed that segment. I really did. And I liked it because I hope to see Drew McIntyre doing something of value at WrestleMania. Whether he wins the Elimination Chamber or not, I hope he has a high profile match at Mania. Because the year he had, he was so good. I hope it just doesn't go to waste for him to do some random ass fucking feud at Mania. I hope he has a big match.
I don't think it will, though. Next, we had Wade interviewing Trish Stratton. Tiffany Stratton.
Oh, Tiffany Stratton.
No, it's Trish Stratus that he was interviewing, but the two STRAs were screwing with me.
Okay.
So let's just say he was interviewing Trish, and it seems like they might build up a little Chelsea and Trish feud, so that could be cool. Naomi and Chelsea were there for the Elimination Chamber qualification, and I had no faith that they were going to let Naomi win, but I'm so glad they did.
I figured Naomi would win.
I'm glad they did because I think that Chelsea should actually be building up that championship and not trying to win another one.
Please.
Because there's no reason to even invent it if she's just going to be trying to win a bigger one anyway. Yeah, and then we have the most important match of the episode, the Motor City Machine Guns and Los Garzas.
Next.
Anything to say about that one?
No.
I literally wrote, "Who cares?"
And there's a fan of the Motor City Machine Guns. That's good. Like Colton, if he was watching this, he'd be fucking pissed at us. Don't you disrespect the fucking legend of the game? But yeah, I got nothing to say. Shout outs to you, Motor City Machine Guns.
Johnny Gargano was nothing until he stole
his move. Right, bro. He just knew everything. He just fucking knew everything.
Next, we had that little segment with Fatu going back to Solo Sikoa.
Again,
and Solo said
mm-hmm.
he needed some time off. And then Fatu and Tamatanga were both just kind of like walked away from him. So it seems like they might be creating a little bit of a rift between them.
And then he stopped Jacob Fatu, and Jacob Fatu's always like, I love you, Solo, and Solo was like, I love you, Jacob. So they switched roles right there, but it definitely seems like they're building towards Jacob versus Solo at Mania. I'm assuming that's going to be the Mania match for those two, which I'm excited to see.
You don't think Solo gets Cody again?
Continue, man. Continue.
Actually, Cody's got to go against another Tongan, so it's probably just going to be Tama.
Like, get Cody out of the fucking bloodline, please, bro. You would think he's a member of the bloodline the way he's just fucking feuding with them.
Then we get to see Shinsuke, a champion, not in the ring because we haven't seen that in months. But he's in the back room, and he gets cut off by the Miz. And the Miz is like, you should be going against me instead of LA Knight. And then they immediately have a match between him and LA Knight.
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown just be doing shit, dog. Their stories.
Yeah, man.
Bore me at some point.
Shinsuke was out there talking I need somebody worthy or whatever, and then LA Knight's music drops because I was wondering whose music is gonna be. And then I heard LA Knight's music, and I was like, oh. And it's nothing against LA Knight. I really fuck with him, I do. But it's just they have so many nice pieces in the mid card division. But they just got the belt on Shinsuke doing a whole lot of fucking nothing. And I thought, because they took a pause on LA Knight and Shinsuke, so I thought that was over. But you had Carmelo Hayes, you had Andrade. They got some nice pieces over there in that mid card that could be doing something with that belt. But they got it on Shinsuke not doing a damn thing. So hopefully they get that belt up off of him. And hopefully a guy like The Miz, Carmelo Hayes, or Andrade can win it and do something with it.
And Miz loses. What a surprise. He never wins anymore. But speaking of Carmelo Hayes, the world was complaining, Carmelo hasn't won in this many months. So they give him Lil Homie last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Lil Homie just gets smashed because that's all he ever does.
Mm-hmm.
And they still had him in a close matchup. It wasn't like Carmelo looked great. What's Lil Homie's name? Akira Tozawa?
Yeah.
I don't know why I asked. I knew his name. But this episode, we get Carmelo again, and he's going against R-Truth. So once again, you just kind of know Carmelo's going to win.
Yeah, you just throw him some fucking layups, so just to get some wins under his belt. Which I don't hate, but if this is the case still for Carmelo going into WrestleMania, something needs to change. Because I'm hoping this is just small stepping stones until we get to a big marquee match for him at Mania. Whether it's him winning the United States Championship there, but Carmelo Hayes is too good to be just fucking either losing or when he's winning, he's beating guys like Tozawa and R-Truth. But it works for his character, but just for the sake of him, I want to see him doing bigger things.
Next up, we had Alexa Bliss's little segment, and I know you're not going to be happy, but they still had the little screen flashes. So she's...
Yeah. It's
inevitably going to be with the Wyatt
and it's
Six.
not like they do it throughout the episode. It's really only when Alexa's on the screen they have the little Wyatt Six fucking flashes and glitches on the screen. So it seems like the Wyatt Six is gonna come back and fucking recruit her or some shit or whatever. She's gonna be back with the Wyatt. So I mean, I'm not gonna, especially with WWE, I'm not one to just shit on something before it happens. So I'm willing to see how it plays out. But my preference would be for her not to join them. Maybe this is what they needed because I just haven't been a fan of the Wyatt Six as of late. I feel like they just didn't do a good job with them. So maybe this is what they need, a star like Alexa. But hopefully it works because I don't want Alexa to join the Wyatt Six. It still doesn't work. And now nobody gives a fuck about Alexa anymore because she was part of the Wyatt Six. So I'm hoping that's not the case.
Maybe she'll turn them down and then that'll bring them back out and doing some stuff.
Maybe.
The last two segments of SmackDown, I could quite literally have not cared less about. We had Tiffy and Nia Jax, and you know how much I like Nia Jax.
That was a fun little match, and then you had Charlotte come out.
Candice came out,
LeRae.
right? And
LeRae,
yeah, she interrupted, and then Charlotte comes out, and she had her little fun, and then she declares that she's choosing Tiffy. We all knew that was going to happen, but. So I don't know where they go with Rhea now. It's going to be Io, right?
That's exactly why, because I was like, well, if Charlotte picks Rhea or Charlotte picks Tiffy, what is Rhea gonna do? So that's why part of me was like, I'm kind of down for Charlotte to pick Rhea, and they have their trilogy, they have their third match, the tiebreaker. But I ultimately did expect her to pick Tiffy. But in terms of Rhea, I really don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna see you the Monday after the Elimination Chamber.
Dog, why not just have Io in the fucking Elimination Chamber and have her fucking win it? They better have something big planned at fucking WrestleMania. And I want to say it's, Bianca Belair, because that would be a match that'll fucking have people going crazy, me included. But they still have this overlooming thing of fucking Jade Cargill. What's going on with Jade? So I would love for it to be Bianca and Rhea, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, shit, that can't happen because Jade's gonna come back eventually, right? So I just can't
That's
even
a fine ass match.
just can't even bring myself to say it's gonna be Rhea and Bianca. So I have no clue what it's gonna be for Rhea.
And then we had Fatu, Braun Strowman, and Damian Priest in their little trio match for the chamber. And Braun Strowman can't move anymore. I don't like Damian Priest. And I just don't have
Damian
much
Priest.
invested into Jacob Fatu yet. So this match, it was a cool match, but Priest winning did nothing for me.
I really enjoyed it. I definitely. Oh, and we didn't talk about the last segment that set up Trish Stratus, because Trish Stratus came out and whatever, and now it's gonna be Trish Stratus and Tiffy versus Candice and Nia at Elimination Chamber. But yeah, the main event. I really like this match. I definitely expected Damian Priest to win. I seen a lot of people hating on Damian Priest. They're like, ever since he lost that belt to Gunther at SummerSlam, he's been nonstop winning, which I will say, as a Damian Priest fan, he definitely has just been winning like crazy. So I can't say they're wrong. But I've always loved Damian Priest, and I continue. If he wins every single match, I will still love him. It don't matter. So I expected him to win this. Do I expect him to do much of anything in the Elimination Chamber? Probably not. But I just hope him and Drew McIntyre don't have another moment. He eliminates Drew McIntyre like he did in the Royal Rumble, and I hope that's not the WrestleMania match for Drew McIntyre, because as much as I love Damian Priest, I don't want it to be Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, because I feel like Drew McIntyre deserves something more than that, like chasing a title or having a match versus fucking Roman. Because for a while, I don't know if that's when you were, locked back in, but Drew was going after everybody from the fucking bloodline, and he said he was going to go after Roman, and what the fuck happened to that? He went after Jimmy. He went after Sammy. They had him lose to fucking Jey Uso at Saturday Night's Main Event or whenever that was. And then he's just not going after Roman anymore. Like, what's going on with this? So I just hope they have something big plan for Drew McIntyre WrestleMania. I really hope they do.
They moved him to SmackDown, so we'll never see from him again. Raw opens with them re-showing Kevin and Sammy's little segments while they're in their cars.
Bro, it felt like there were so many fucking flashbacks and replays in this fucking Monday Night Raw, bro. It felt like every segment was just a flashback of what happened last week.
And then Sammy in the car was like, I don't know when you'll see me again. It could be a long time, but Kevin, just know I'm gonna see you. And then it comes out to Sammy's music hitting
like,
immediately.
Bro, I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? I'm not gonna be cleared, shit like. And then literally, his fucking music starts, and I'm like, what are we doing here? And he tried to come out and be they had Adam Pearce come out, Sammy, you're not medically cleared, all that shit. You already knew the fucking match was happening once Sammy started talking and he came out. You already knew the match was happening. They tried to get us with the, oh no, you're not cleared, match ain't happening, but they ended up having the match. So Sammy and KO at Elimination Chamber.
Kevin said he wanted him in Toronto at Elimination Chamber. Sammy, Toronto, right? That's where it is.
Yeah, both Canadians, so the crowd will be hot.
I knew that. I didn't know if it was another part of Canada, though. Pierce was like, Sammy, it could be your last match ever. It's not going to be sanctioned, blah, blah, blah. Sammy said he wants it, so it'll be in an unsanctioned match at Elimination Chamber.
I'm sure it'll be a good match, but it's just weird that they had that fucking flashback of Sammy saying, I don't know when I'll be back, to his music hitting.
Then we have the Judgment Day in their back room again, because I know everybody wants to see that. And Finn tells Raquel not to lose because it'd be embarrassing to the newcomer. And then he says, Dom, we're not having any new members. And
yeah, they've been talking about some new member for a while now. I wonder who it's going to be. A lot of people are saying Aleister Black. He comes back and he's their member, but I don't know. So we'll see.
Hopefully nothing, and it disbands.
I agree.
You see the picture that they posted today, Liv and Dom?
Where he was holding her?
Like she's completely straddled against him.
Yeah.
His wife got to be the most secure woman to walk this whole planet.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at a girl like Liv, and it's like, damn, my husband's just holding her hand, all show, carrying her, rubbing noses with her, that little shit that they do. But yeah, I mean, shit, she's okay with this, so shout out to her.
Although you don't see any other couples in the WWE doing that shit. It's crazy. And Liv is just so damn fine.
So fine.
So
fine.
I don't know why we needed the clip from Speed Stream saying that
was
he
like,
was hurting and
why?
everything.
Why, bro? There were just some unnecessary clips and flashbacks in this. I don't understand it. The Rumble was like 3 weeks ago. We know he was hurt. We know he was hurting. It was so random. I'm thinking he was gonna announce something big, but it was like, yeah, chat, man, I was hurting from that
I was
spear, man. I
hurting.
was hurting real bad, man. It hurt, chat, and that was it. I was like, what was that for?
Believe it or not, AJ Styles came back, and instead of giving him someone fun to go against, the new guy or the returner always goes against Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, literally.
And Dom hasn't won a match in what seems like 25 years.
Because it's another guy where it just works for Dom. Everybody hates him, so him losing doesn't do shit to him. So it's like, oh, we need this top guy to get a win. Just give him Dom. He'll give him a good match, but Dom's gonna lose in the end, and it won't matter. So the Judgment Day said they all wanted to win today, and they went
over.
Yeah.
Carlito intervened and did it twice, and it just didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
The match was never like, oh, Dom's gonna win.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker pops up out of nowhere at the end to spark this little feud with AJ. AJ steps out of the way. He spears Dom.
I'm excited for that feud.
Yeah, it should be a championship that they go against each other, hopefully at Elimination Chamber. But and I don't know if you clocked it or not. Braun Breaker was literally bright yellow. He needs to lay off the damn tan.
Yeah, he goes crazy on it. He definitely does.
He looked weak as hell.
He does it all the time, bro. He does it all the time.
And then we had probably my favorite match of the night. Ivy Nile and Dakota Kai with Lyra Valkyria sitting ringside. This wasn't an Elimination Chamber match. It was just for that championship. And they put on a show, dog. Ivy Nile is becoming one of my favorite in-ring wrestlers.
For sure.
For the women's side, I like the WWE for their stories, but she's just a phenomenal wrestler.
I was gonna say these past couple of weeks they've just been putting on some good wrestling matches. These past couple of weeks, like last week we had that tag match with Damage Control and Judgment Day. There's just been some good matches. I don't know if it's this elimination qualifier shit going on, but whatever they got going on, they need to keep it going because I love the story, like you said, but the matches. If you're a guy that just loves the wrestling aspect of WWE, you would have been loving these past couple of weeks of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. It's been great.
This is the first time I can ever say I've wanted to be Ivy Nile because Dakota tried to pin her a couple times by just sitting on her chest and was. But I did not expect them to let Dakota win. I thought for sure they were going to pull Ivy more.
For sure, especially with Ivy eliminating Lyra from the Rumble. I definitely thought Ivy Nile was going to win, but I'm happy to see Dakota Kai, actually win, and hopefully this can lead to something for her, and I pray she can stay healthy so she can actually get it done.
Before this Raw, I was kind of sick of Gunther. All of his things to Jay was the same. You're gonna get beat up. You're not worthy. You're a sidekick. Tonight's segment was great.
Great, bro. I was listening to it at work, and then he comes out or whatever, and then I forget who it was, and they're like, no, I heard him, and he was like, and I heard like the crowd, and I'm like, there's no fucking way he's in the back like how Jey Uso is, and he's about to come down the stairs.
Walking down the side.
So I flip my phone on, and then I hear Pat McAfee or Michael, and he said he's doing the Jey Uso entrance, and I'm like, wow, like this is how you, cause for a feud that nobody was really interested in, this is how you get it going and put some fire behind it, so people actually get interested. They're doing a great job so far getting me behind this feud.
He was about halfway down the steps, and he looks at the little kid in front of him and goes, "Better get out the way, little kid, before something bad happens." The kid just steps out the way immediately. And then he walked over and forced Michael Cole and Pat McAfee to say if they think Jay can beat him.
Yeah.
And in Pat McAfee style, he was like, "Yeah, I want Jey Uso to beat you." And then his music hits, and it was Jay's shortest entrance in probably 3 months.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, how are they gonna do this? I know he's gonna come out for the save, but it's like, is he gonna do a bunch of yeeting before, like how Jeff Hardy back in the day would come out but still get his dance in? Is Jay gonna come out to save Pat McAfee but still just be like this with the crowd, or is he just gonna run? But he did, yeah, it wasn't a long interest, like you said. He just got out there and help Pat McAfee. So yeah.
And they came out and did their little thing, and Pat McAfee was still over there doing the yeets on top of the table. Yeah. Michael Cole was like, "You gonna get us killed, man."
Yeah. I love them two together, man. But yeah, Gunther was
after
really
that,
good. He had a really good line in this too. Because he's a guy that's about like not the fucking all the gimmicks and shit about wrestling. He's just about just wrestling and just being the best. So he had a line. He's like, wrestling for you guys is like reading Shakespeare to a dog, and I was like, holy shit,
Yeah,
he is cooking on the mic.
phenomenal.
Yeah, he was really good.
I already knew what you were about to say. That was a
He
good
he
line. I'm
was
glad you
so
brought that
good.
up. And after that great segment, we had one that I didn't watch more than about 3 minutes of.
Mm-hmm.
We go to Penta versus Pete Dunne. Ludwig comes out.
Oh, I didn't know.
I don't care about what's going on with him.
I don't care for fucking Pete Dunne. They do the Pete Dunne Butch. It's like somebody calls him Butch. Oh, now we gotta have a match. I hate it. I'm so sick and tired of it. Literally, Penta and Butch came on. I was like, all right, let me go charge my AirPods. And Penta has been phenomenal ever since he's came. I've enjoyed watching his matches. And not that Pete Dunne is a bad wrestler. It's just like, I don't care for that fucking feud or whatever they got going on. So I literally went and charged my AirPods so I could listen to the rest of the show afterwards.
Just get Pete Dunne out of there. Penta versus Ludwig would be awesome.
I would have liked. I would have stuck around for that match.
Then we go to Roxanne and Raquel Rodriguez, and before this, it comes out that we got some random tape, and we see that Liv and Raquel were the ones that beat up
did this on
or that.
Friday.
Yeah.
Awful. Like, no one's fucking buying that shit. We know it wasn't fucking Liv and Raquel. Naomi, we know it was you, girl. We know it was you. It wasn't Liv and Raquel. Because I promise you, if it's Liv and Raquel, boy, fuck that fucking storyline. If it was actually Liv and Raquel that attacked Jade, that is the weakest storyline they could have ever came up with. So there's no way it would be that easy for it to have just been Liv and Raquel. It's still Naomi. I'm not buying that shit.
And they never said it was them. They were just like, if we did do it, we wouldn't be ashamed in it or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then about halfway through the match, Bianca's music hits. The crowd gets to bumping. Liv tries to run away, runs into Naomi. They both look. Mm-hmm. But Raquel gets all worried about her. She gets caught off guard by Roxanne. Roxanne wins the match, go into Elimination Chamber. I highly doubt we see her in NXT again. It was a good match. Raquel, I feel bad for her because she's better than what they're giving her, but at the same time, she's not good enough to be in the upper echelon.
And they tried, like, not even that they tried, but their reasoning for bringing her was for her to come and protect Liv Morgan, and they do a fucking terrible job at booking her that way. Why is she running away with Liv Morgan too? They had her doing that a lot early on. They just never made her feel like dominant in what she was supposed to be. She's one of the bigger girls. She's huge. They're supposed to make her feel like how they do with Nia Jax. Maybe not to that extent, but make her feel like someone that the other women would be afraid of messing with. But they just have her on some fucking weak shit. And I love Raquel Rodriguez so much, but they just got her looking like a fucking goofy.
Absolutely. Sorry. So after that match, the women's chamber was confirmed. We got Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Bianca, Bayley, and Roxanne. Should be great. I assume that we'll probably. Actually, I don't know. Who wins that?
Exactly. That is like this is Io's to win, but she's not in it. I realistically don't see anyone winning this to go. Not that I can't see them winning it. I don't see any of them winning it then going on to face Rhea. It doesn't make any sense for anybody to.
It's got to be Bianca, right?
Right?
Roxanne's too new.
Right?
Naomi doesn't matter enough. Liv's not ready for her championship already. I don't think Bayley is either.
Bayley,
you giving Alexa Bliss Rhea right away?
No. So that's why I want to say it's. I think, and I'm pissed at myself for saying this because they had this long ass feud. I think Liv wins, but I think Io inserts herself, so it's a triple threat for the title at Mania, because you can't just do Rhea and Liv again. People will fucking riot because people were over that feud. So I think Liv wins and Io or whoever wins, but I think Io inserts herself and it's a triple threat at Mania. Io, Rhea, and whoever wins the chamber. But I just cannot say Bianca Belair because they have to do something with her and Jade Cargill because Jade's still fucking out. If they take that till past WrestleMania, we still don't know who attacked her. I'm over that shit. I really am. So I want to, like, Bianca just looking at without storylines or anything, just looking at the card, the 6 women in that match. It's like, oh yeah, Bianca's fucking wiping her ass with this competition. She's winning this easily. But just because she has that overlooming Jade Cargill fucking feud, I can't pick her. So I'm going to say Liv, like, just fucking hesitantly, Liv and then Io. So it's a triple threat at Mania.
You think Io loses on some disqualification shit, and she's like, "Oh, but I really won, so I should."
Probably. That's probably what happens.
After them, we had Io, and she had her little segment where she's all mad at Rhea, hyping up their little match. And Io's great in the ring, but she's cool.
Mm-hmm.
After them, we had the best segment of the night. One that I watched no time of. I saw Xavier and Kofi come out, and it's so sad because Kofi's one of my favorites of all time, and I literally skipped the whole thing.
This was a lot better than what they have done recently. I was listening to this at work, and I was like, you know what? At least they're finally talking. It's not like we're going to let the crowd cut us off. We're going to stop talking on purpose just so the crowd can boo us. They actually got off what they were trying to say, because most times it would be like, and you know what? And then they'll stop. Like there'd be no booing, but they'll stop so the crowd can boo. But no, they actually just kept on speaking through it. So I thought this was an improvement to what the New Day has been doing. But I did not care for the LWO's music hitting and them having a little thing. But just the New Day promo itself, I didn't mind at all.
Couldn't even tell you what it was about. I knew the LWO come out, but
I didn't
watch. And then to end, we had the long-ass Finn and Seth match, and we could literally get this match every single week, and I would never complain because they're so good together.
This is what I mean, bro. The wrestling has been so fucking good these past couple of weeks. This match was amazing. It was so good. And them two together, they talked about they've had like 11 matches against each other. Give us 11 more, because them two together are so fucking good. And we know Finn isn't going to win most of the times, but man, he was amazing in this match. This was such a good match. There were a couple of times where I was like, holy shit, Finn might win this, because Finn hit his finisher, the coup de grace, and then I was like, oh my goodness, Finn is going to go to the chamber, and what the fuck is Seth going to do at Mania? But Seth ended up kicking out, then hitting the curse down. But this was such a good match, but I'm not surprised in the slightest that Finn lost. Not at all.
Finn is one of my favorite wrestlers in the WWE. I don't like most of his stories.
He's so good.
I'm sick of him in the Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. I don't want him to be in any form of group. Just go out there and be yourself.
For sure.
But we're not going to see that, I guess. That's all we have for Seth wins, as you said.
I don't know where we started at, but my recording says an hour 42. I don't know how early I hit record before we actually started, but so it's at least an hour and a half. And we talked about, this is going to be a shorter one before we started recording. And here we are at an hour and a half and probably more. We always going to find a way. We always going to find a way. It's not a bad thing, though. It's not a bad thing.
Thursday's episode will be sub 115.
We'll see.
No waffle. I'm
no waffle.
Purposely not getting no small talk.
No small talk. That's crazy. But is that it?
I'm just kidding. That is it. Yep.
All right. Well, if you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to go down and drop a like if you haven't already. Go down and sub if you're new. We're 2 away from 75. Small said we are at 74, then lost one, so we're 2 away from 75. Get the YouTube to 75 before the TikTok gets to 75. Make it a race. But drop a comment, just chat it up with us. We'll be down there chatting it back with you guys. Head over to the TikTok and show some love over there. The YouTube shorts as well. Smalls is also posting the shorts and the TikToks on Twitter. If you didn't know that, the Twitter's also in the description. All those are in the description. We'll see you guys on Thursday. We appreciate you guys. And peace.
Love y'all.